of the most important things that I learned later in life about parenting is that my job as a parent wasn't just to raise a child. My job as a parent wasn't just to feed a child and get the child off to school. What I learned later in life is that being a parent is all about developing the mind of what you want that child to become. So we're not just raising children and we're not just raising teens. We're raising children that understand that they are a child of the Most High God. We're raising children to grow to understand who they authentically are, to become a success in life, to become a productive member of society. We're raising children and teens that we want to become intelligent, emotionally intelligent, intellectually intelligent, someone who has a heart for humanity, someone who has a sense of obligation to civic duty, right? You have to think about who you want your child to grow into becoming, right? It's not just about surviving as a child. You're not here just to feed them and bathe them, although that is very important, right? To give them a safe environment, very important. But it's also to expose them to the books that are going to help develop their mind, because you don't have enough time to teach them everything they need to know, right? I wish I would have known that earlier. I would have exposed my daughter to self-development and self-improvement and essentially nonfiction books, right? To learn about all the things that are going to benefit her as she grows older. That instead of me just taking her shopping, that when she said, "Mommy, I want a pair of sneakers," I would say, "Okay, read this book and I'll get you a pair of sneakers." Right? To negotiate instead of just giving, 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 giving. To create an environment that helps them to evolve into the best version of themselves. Right? And so most people, or many people, are just operating from a sense of survival. I just got to get through this day. I just got to get my daughter to daycare, and I just got to get my son to daycare, and I just got to pick them up. And so many parents don't even pick their kids up on time because they're ripping and running. We're operating from the wrong kind of parenting model in many senses, right? So if I had to do it over again, I would definitely read more books to my daughter when she was very young, even an infant. I would begin reading to instill and to plant the seed of how important books are. And then for her birthday, I would have given her a book for every holiday, birthdays and Christmases. And I would have enrolled her in a mentorship program as a teenager. I definitely would have put her in Girl Scouts. I think Girl Scouts is an amazing organization. There are so many things that we can expose them to ahead of time, right? Be careful of what they're watching. Be careful, limit their exposure to what's going in their ears that's not healthy for them. Even music, right? I would not have given her a cell phone so early in life. So think about the person you're actually trying to develop your child into. And, maybe consider becoming more present and more aware of where, as a parent, you could change some things so that with these little changes, with these little shifts, right, your child could become the next X, Y, and Z, right? I remember one of the first female chief justices, she said she would have never become a lawyer and she would have never become the first female chief justice. I think she was the very first one, had her parents not taken her to Washington, D.C. to see the monuments and other, sites in the U.S., right? So I definitely also would have taken my daughter to more monuments, to more historical things. I would have taught her, right? I would have just exposed her to more stuff. We would have traveled more. I would have been purposeful about where we traveled, because exposure is the best teacher, right? Exposure, especially when it's immersive, right? So think about that and just create the intention to become a better parent. We can all become a better parent. It's never too late, right? My daughter's 32 and I'm still learning, right? Because the role of a parent shifts over time. But you have the most influence over your child now while they're young, right? As they get older, like from birth to 7 is your most influential time. Then 7 to 12 is the second. But, as they get older, the influence that we have over them diminishes, right? We should never give up on trying to positively influence the direction they're going in life and the mentality that they develop. But as they get older, Their friends, social media, society have a greater influence on how their mind develops, right? So think about that and see where you can improve, and talk to your kids, right? Expose them to nonfiction books, take them to the library. That's a big thing, right? Bookstores, conferences, mentorship programs, expose them to higher quality people, um, take an interest in their friends, right? Invite their friends over for dinner so that their friends can be exposed to whatever it is you're teaching your kid. All right. So think about some other ways. Just write them down.